Hello and welcome to the latest from Heart Standard. My name is Joel Sked and I'm joined by Craig Cairns. How's it going, Craig?
Yeah, pretty well, Joel. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. I was at was at the Heart shareholders meeting last night, and the guests were the management team. It was interesting. I think there was a few good questions, a few interesting questions. Got antsy at one point, but over the piece, it was interesting, interesting enough. But yeah, we're here though to talk about the Scottish Premiership match between Heart of Midlothian and Celtic at Celtic Park on Saturday afternoon. We'll also talk about Cammy Devlin's new contract as well. He signed an extension until 2026. But I suppose just jumping straight in, wait till I get the running order, which I sent to you, but for some reason I've not got it in front of me. Here we go. So how are you feeling about the trip to Parkhead for Hearts?
Obviously, yeah, I'd say there's a little bit of worry there that we could get a scudding because Celtic are on form and are a very good team. But I'm hoping that we do see some sort of reaction, that even if we don't get a result, which I don't think anybody's going to fly off the handle if we don't get a result. But if we don't get a performance, then there's probably going to be an issue. So yeah, I do expect them to be fired up. And I do expect them to show some sort of reaction from the poor run that they're on. In terms of the result, a lot of that depends on how Celtic are. And luck. It's going to come down to if we get a result, then invariably at places like Celtic Park, you ride your luck at times. So there's a few factors that have to go right for us. But I think in terms of setting us up for the fixtures to come, it would be really good to see some sort of performance and some sort of direction of travel.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll come on to talking about what Hearts need to do to win. And like you said, there's numerous factors. This week they have been a lot of video around the 2 wins against Celtic last year. Beat them in December 2-0 at Celtic Park, and then beat them again at Tynecastle Park 2-0 as well. Yeah, I think it was the last time we saw Callum Newhoff. So there's belief and confidence be taken from that they've gone and done it before. And I remember doing this video back in the exact same video back in December. The title was "Can Hearts defeat Celtic to end?" or something along the lines. Can Hearts beat Celtic after poor run, blah blah blah. And it was just like the comments were, "No, finish, job done." That's the video over. And no one
is that you trying to omen it again with the I don't even know if that's a word, but are you trying to omen it with the same title?
That's it. And like Graham says, we'd love to be wrong, but I just don't see how we can get anything tomorrow given our form. We can't afford to concede early, or it could be a long afternoon. That is exactly that's exactly correct, because we certainly can't concede early. You look at Celtic; they have won all 5 games this season. They're averaging 3 goals a game, and they have conceded just 1 goal all season as well. When you look at the team that played against Rangers, I think there's only one new signing. It was Kasper Schmeichel in goals, and then they've just got a raft of talent on the bench. So yeah, we'll discuss Celtic in very shortly. But what would your starting 11 be tomorrow? Mine is pretty clear. I think relatively clear. Deciding on one position. But tell me yours, and I'll see if it matches mine.
I'm maybe unsure about 2 or 3 different positions, and you've got much more experience in recent times than me of this, so feel free to interject if I'm talking nonsense at any point. But Gordon appears to have the number 1 shirt tied down. Yep. Frankie Kent, he's one of the first names on the team sheet. Then it's a decision about whether I think Stephen Kingsley plays. I think he's again one of the first names on the team sheet. I think it's going to be a back three, whether he's on the left side instead of Rowles, and it's Halkett on the right, or Kingsley on the right and Rowles on the left. I'm not entirely sure. I think Taylor and Penrice will be the wing backs. Then I'm writing a piece for this just now, and I might change it. I've not 100% nailed down what I think. But if Benny's fit, he comes back in. If he's fit, he's fit. But if he's match fit to start a game, he comes back in. Then I was going to say Boateng, because I just don't. He's not played himself out of the team. He's been one of our better players. As we discussed recently, I do think there is a place for him and Benny in the team. But then Devlin gives you a lot in these games as well, and it's just signing a new contract. I know that doesn't mean that you're going to start the next game, but he is a player that Naismith likes. I think that would be overkill to have the three of them in the midfield if you're playing a back three. So I think more likely you'll have a George Grant or a Blair Spittle or something like that in there instead of either Boateng or Devlin, I would say. Curiously, though, Devlin didn't start in any of the 2-0 victories, I think. And then up front, I think the only relative success we've had up front so far has been Vargas playing off the shoulder. I think that's going to be something that will be a potential outball against a high Celtic defence, and Shankland up alongside them, dropping off and doing what he does. I think that's roughly what the team will be. I don't know if you think I've made any sort of glaring errors there.
No, I don't think you made any glaring errors, and your kind of consideration is very much the same. It's same things I've been considering. Gordon, for me, plays. And then I think you got the back three of Kingsley, Rowles, and Kent. I think you just got a good balance there. I know I know it does look clunky with Kingsley at right sided centre back, but because you're not going to have so much of the ball, I don't think it's as clunky as it is maybe a home game or a game where we have more possession. You need more from your centre backs with the ball, so I don't think that's a massive issue. So that gives you a nice balance in terms of pace and solidity. And then Taylor and Penrice, they're the two fullbacks that went with. We'll come back and speak about the fullbacks in terms of what Hearts need to do to win. And then it was the midfield three. I think Scott Alexander says here Grant has to start and play most of the game. I think Grant is probably the midfielder that I definitely play out the midfield three. And then it's either a case of Benny as a number 6, and then either Boateng or Devlin ahead of him. I think that's the big. I think that's the big question mark for me is whether Boateng or Devlin plays. And Devlin, we've talked about him before, is that I sometimes feel like he needs a booking to then that's when he kind of comes into his own and plays on the edge. But at Celtic Park, I'm not sure he can go with that. So I wonder if that might come into Naismith's thinking. Like you said, Boateng's not played himself out of contention. Him and Silla did, and you've talked about it before, him and Silla have done well as a combination when they've Dundee played against the Old Firm, certainly Rangers. So yeah, that would be leaning towards that, but at the same time, wouldn't be no eyebrows to be raised if Devlin played alongside Grant and then Benny behind.
And Benny's going to have to be replaced at some point by.
Yes,
you would expect Devlin or Boateng. So yeah, one of them you would expect. I would expect to start on the bench if Benny starts.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It won't
be all three. It can't be all three. That would be overkill in a back three.
Then you're struggling to get. I just don't think you're probably struggling to have control of the game a wee bit further up. I think maybe Grant brings that, and Shankland and Vargas bringing the pace and the energy, and then Shankland being able to drop in. Now, moving from the starting 11 to what Hearts need to do to win, I went back and read James's analysis of the 2-0 win last season, And something, and there were aspects of it that were just like, hold on, this sounds very, very familiar. None more so than it's no secret that Hearts have been a tad conservative in possession at times this season. That a little bit more attacking verve wouldn't go amiss, and that's exactly what Naismith got against Celtic. And he looked at it from two avenues, both in that when we get the ball, it needs to take care of it. But I think you need to attack Celtic quickly, and you need to do to Celtic what teams have been doing to us this season. And that when we lose the ball, we look really vulnerable, and that's what Hearts need to do. Is like it's a big thing was. Big frustration last season was Benny at times would get the ball and then maybe go for the safe sideway pass when something else, when a more penetrative pass further forward was on. He did that really well against Celtic last season. And then you were able to get up the pitch and get into dangerous areas, end up winning. And it was through that the goals came about, yes, both through set pieces, but the build up to it was through playing directly. And then on the defensive side, Nathaniel Atkinson probably had his best game in the Hearts shirt that day. And then Alex Cochrane was absolutely brilliant. And the two wing-backs played really, really well against the two Celtic wingers. And then they were helped out by the two centre midfielders. So Benny kind of just sat, gave Hearts a platform. And then it was Aidan Denham and George Grant. They got out and helped the Hearts wing-backs to defend against the threat from the flanks from Celtic. And then you had the three centre-backs and Benny protecting the central areas. That's what it was kind of like the ideal way to break or kind of keep Celtic at bay, and it worked really, really well. But like you said, there are so many factors that need to go. You need Celtic individually and collectively to have somewhat of an off day. You need to ride your luck. You need to have a bit of luck as well. You need your goalkeeper to play really well, and then you just need to be well drilled, well organised, well structured. All of that kind of helped the last time Hearts won at Celtic Park. And it's basically, I just feel you just basically need to get a rerun of that.
Yeah, it would certainly be nice. It would be a lovely way to kickstart the season. Unfortunately, they are in great form at the moment. Kyogo's in really good scoring form. He loves a goal against Hearts, so that's going to be one of the things we're going to have to be wary of. And another thing is, you were talking about the wingers there, but there's been a lot made of Alistair Johnson's performances this season in an attacking sense. I don't think his defensive or physical attributes have ever been in doubt, but he seems to be much more of an attacking threat this season under Brendan Rodgers. So he adds another dimension to their attack. And they're just going to have threats from all over the pitch. Kuhn is a player who did his bedding in last season and is now like a real handful from week to week. Bernardo, similar boat, was in and out of the team last season, maybe got a few more chances to play. And now he's getting a run of games in what's possibly their greatest strength in that midfield, alongside Hatate and McGregor. And you could just go through the whole team, and there's threats all over there. So as you said, we need to ride our luck. Hopefully all the cliches. Hopefully have a wee bit of an off day. And we need, as Naismith himself said, we need to be a threat. We can't just sit in for 90 minutes and expect that that's going to get us a result. We're going to have to be brave, and we're going to have to go up the pitch sometimes, and we're going to have to try and take a chance when we create them.
Absolutely. And in a way, I'm confidence probably not the right word. More comfortable about tomorrow than I am St Mirren a week tomorrow.
There's more potential for like toys being thrown out the pram if we lose the St Mirren game than compared to losing the Celtic game.
And understand.
I can see it. Yeah, so I can see it from that perspective. But at the same time, as I said, a meek performance or a heavy defeat, not going to go down well, even if it is rampant champions.
Yeah. Before we get kind of on predictions, with Celtic, talked about their threat in the wide areas, Kyogo, their fullbacks. One thing when I watch Celtic, and I feel this is something you always need to do, you need to press or make it difficult for Callum McGregor. I hate watching teams play against Celtic and then Callum McGregor just like, no, you can do what you want, you can have the ball. It's like you kind of want Scales to have the ball, and then as soon as it comes into McGregor, that's where you either got Shanklin sitting on him, or that's where someone like Boateng or whoever plays goes and engages them very, very quickly.
Yeah, exactly. So, are you looking forward to it? I don't know. You never. I was going to say that you didn't answer how you were feeling about it, but I suppose you did just say there that you're feeling comfortable. Do you think you'll still feel that come kick off tomorrow? You're going to be there as a fan. We should remind people.
Yeah. I think comfortable. It's just because the expectation is so low. I just think when you're when Hearts are not expected to do anything, it takes a wee bit of the stress and pressure away. So you're just like, well, if anything other than a heavy defeat is expected, and then when it becomes uncomfortable, as if it's heading towards that heavy defeat, or we actually get ahead and we look like we're about to get a good result, that's when it becomes uncomfortable. But no, it's kind of, I don't want to say I want to get this game at the road, because like I said in the previous video, is that it should be judged on every single game at Hearts. But I want to see what we're going to be like against St Mirren. I want to see what we're going to be like against Ross County. This game's just it's different, other than, as you said, that you don't want a meat performance. If you're competitive and there's signs of progress, that's good. But it's next week. That's really important. It's against Ross County. That's really important. It's how we deal with Europe after how we deal with Aberdeen after Europe, which is really, really important, and I think will give us a better indication of this team going forward. So yeah, tomorrow was a bit like kind of just easing back in after the international break, and then to the more important games further down the line. We will move on to talk about Camy Devlin, but first, what's your prediction for tomorrow?
I will go for I'll go for a 3-1 defeat, a good performance, 3-1 defeat. Is that right? I like to predict defeats on
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. 3-0 Celtic. I think we'll be competitive, lose 1-0 down at half time, and then kind of lose a couple towards the end. That's
Shanklin will score a volley.
He does. He's got a good record against. I think he's got a decent record against Old Firm. So no better way to kind of start getting himself back up and running tomorrow. So yeah, fingers crossed. Before we finish up, we'll talk about, because we're just doing a short video today, we'll talk about Camy Devlin's new deal. So he signed a contract extension until 2026. It's been on the offing for a while. When he signed his contract extension last year, it was already talked about that there are going to be discussions about an extension. I spoke to him I think it was back in May. He was really keen for it to happen quickly. There's been talks over the summer, and now it's finally been done. So he's tied down until 2026, which if he remains at the club, that'll be him 5 seasons at the club. What is your view? How do you view Camy Devlin, and what do you think of him staying at the extending his stay?
Personality-wise, I think he's been brilliant. I think he's been one of my favourite Hearts players over the last few years. He's really he's one of these, to use another cliche, he's one of these guys who really gets it and gets fans on board with his sort of heart on his sleeve way and all those kind of things. And he's just a really sort of lovable guy to listen to when he talks about football and about Hearts and things like that. Player-wise, he's improved a lot, and I really like him. I've kind of wanted him to kick on that extra bit that
Yeah.
he kind of hasn't.
Yep.
I've wanted him to really nail down being a starter at Hearts, and I feel he hasn't quite done that. I think he's an important member of the squad. I think he's very valuable throughout the season for a number of games, but talking about players like Frankie Kent have made themselves one of the first names on the team sheet. I don't think there's been many times in Cammy Devlin's time at Hearts that he's made himself the first name in the team sheet. Man, I think there was not too long after he signed. Maybe you'll remember better than I did, but I've just wanted them, even though he has improved, I've wanted them to kind of kick on a wee bit more, especially in the final third of the pitch. I think he should be offering a bit more in the final third of the pitch. But he was, I tell you what, I remember a game at Dens Park a few years ago where it was like nosebleed for him whenever he was getting the ball. I'm sure there was one time where he ended up, it was like a 2-on-1 he was part of, and he had the ball, and it was like you said, it was like nosebleed territory for him. So he has improved from that player, but just want him to become and make him like that sort of and like you said, win a cup, make himself a Hearts legend, because he's a proper cult hero at the moment, but he's got the potential to make himself a legend if he can win a cup or something like that.
Yeah, similar thoughts to me in that he absolutely, I agree, he gets the club. He absolutely loves Hearts, loves being here. I do think because he's not quite kicked on to the level that we kind of hope for in the as an attacking player. I do think he's kind of in that situation where I think he's a guy who, like I say, gets Hearts as a reference point, and he's someone who will provide continuity. And he's at Hearts, and that's where he helps other people coming in without being like the star man. But I think that's his challenge. His challenge is to be more productive in the final third. Naismith thinks trying to work on him in the final third, but especially with the way teams are playing against Hearts, and there needs to be more problem solvers in midfield, and I think there's a responsibility for him to maybe step up and provide that. You speak to him, and I think he would agree that he wants to do more. He wants to score more goals, wants to be more involved, and you want more numbers from him in terms of assists, in terms of passes into the box, key passes, all that kind of nonsense, as well as scoring. Because we all know that he can get about the pitch really well. They said, I don't mind him. I think he plays on the. I don't mind him when he plays on the edge. I think really enjoy that. He is the type of player that Hearts fans will kind of go to because of his attitude and his determination and his willingness to get stuck in. Sometimes, sometimes it's a bit daft, but he provides a bit of tempo, and it's now to combine that with almost the same way he plays without the ball. Would like him to play with the ball, where he's aggressive with it, he's driving forward with it, he's making himself more forceful or aggressive in the final third. So yeah, I think that's the next step from him, and so I know it's a big season for him, but I think this is a season, having worked under Naismith now and tried to add to his attacking arsenal. Now's the time to actually kind of put that into practice on a consistent basis. And I do feel that this season he's like Motherwell, and just trying to think, he come on at Motherwell, and at kind of Falkirk his presence was missed, but the same, you could say the same he played against Dundee. It wasn't great, but yeah, he's great. I still think there's more to come from him, and I think it's big this season for him to do that.
26 years old, so entering what could be the best years of his footballing career. So he could very well kick on again and like I say, make himself one of the first names in the team sheet in this team, because I think he has the potential to do it. 26 is still
absolutely,
isn't it, Joe?
And yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think there's still if he can add that wee bit to his bit more to the attacking side and his use of the ball again, that's something that I think frustrates a lot of fans, and understandably so at times. That if he can just refine, and because he's been here now 3 years, it's time to refine that. If he can, then yes, he is going to be a really important player. And I do think that combine that with, I think he'd become a leader at Hearts. It'd be huge, and it would be great to see, because like going back to his attitude. It's the type of guy you want in Hearts dressing room, the type of guy you want to watch on the pitch. But if he can just
oh, sorry.
No, on you go, mate. On you go.
He gets, just add about his attitude, he gets the crowd going, and he winds up the opposition as well. So I mean, he adds in those things, which can be an important component of football.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, we'd just like to see him kick on that bit more, and just because I really like him and just want him to get better and better. But hopefully that does come this season, and he does become a more productive attacking outlet for us. But we will see. Craig, we will leave it there. We have got stuff to get on with. There's not much else to say. We'll have probably have plenty to say come Monday when we review the Celtic game. That's when we'll be back. Be sure to check out the website. We'll have stuff from the press conference today where we spoke to Camy Devlin and Stephen Naismith. Some of that will go out tonight at 10:30. Other stuff will go out tomorrow, including tonight will include an injury update, and then we'll have analysis and reaction of the Celtic game tomorrow. But until Monday, have a very good weekend. Hopefully it's not a painful weekend, and thanks so much and goodbye.